So tomorrow you have a test on Chapter 5. The test is only going to cover lessons 1 through 4. We just quizzed on 1 through 3. I gave you back those quizzes. However, on tomorrow's test, there's only 15 questions. The first question is going to be just like numbers 1, 2, and 3. You did exactly the same thing on the test or on the quiz that you took. So for this one, when you plugged in the order pair -2, 1, the answer should have been yes. Now, as I give you these answers, if you want me to work them out, let me know. On the test tomorrow, you must show the work as you're plugging it in. Everybody understand what I mean by that? All right. Number 2, when you plugged it in, it did not work, and that answer was no. Number 3 worked, and the answer was yes. Good so far? Now, on the quiz, on the test tomorrow, you will not have any graphing questions. I did give it to you on this homework, so the order pair that you guys should have gotten for number 4 was the order pair -2, +3. That's where the lines should have crossed if you graphed them correctly. Yes? Okay, this time on the test there isn't a word problem, but if you did solve this one, it should have been 4 months and $90. You will have one question where you have to solve using substitution. And the order pair for number 8 was 6, -1. The order pair for number 9, -1, -1. The order pair for number 10, -5, +5. You will also have one question where you will have to solve it using elimination. The answer for number 11 is 3, 4. Then the answer for number 12 is -3, 5. And number 13, 3, 1. Again, no word problems, but the answer for number 14, yes?
How many on elimination?
1 elimination, 1 substitution. The answer for number 14, it said first write and solve a system. So the first equation was 10x plus 25y equals 120. And then the other equation is x plus y equals 9. When you solve it, there's going to be 7 black and white and 2 color. Good so far? The majority of the test is going to come from lesson 5-4. The instructions on the test are going to state to put both equations in slope-intercept form. Then compare the slopes and the y-intercepts. Once you do that, you're going to tell me how many solutions. So for example, if number 15 were a question on the test, you're going to first take both equations, write them into y equals mx plus b. The first one's done for you. The second one we have to work for. I need to move the 2x to the right side by subtracting it. And then I get y equals -2x plus 5. Okay? Now that we've done that, and we have this equation and this equation to compare, what do we notice we have? What's the same? Making it what? How many solutions? No solution. So on the test, I'm going to have 1 solution. I'm going to type. no solution, and infinitely many. So after you rearrange it, then you're going to come to that line and you're going to circle the correct answer. So because the slopes are the same, we say it's no solution. Then directly beneath that, it's going to also say, classify the system. And you're going to circle one of these. You're either going to say it's consistent and independent, or you're going to say that it's consistent and dependent, or it's inconsistent. So, what is this system when it's no solution? Inconsistent. So this is what you're going to do on the test. Over half of the test is this. I will give you two equations. You will have to fix them and put them in slope-intercept form. Once they're in slope-intercept form, then you circle one of these and one of these. With me? So for this question, number 15, it was no solution and inconsistent. For number, and this one it just said to solve. So it didn't ask you to classify, okay? But on the test, you're doing both. So for number 16, if you solve this, you found out that again, the variables canceled and you were left with nonsense. And number 16 is also no solution and inconsistent. All right, good so far? Then when you solve 17, everything should have canceled out if you used one of the methods, but if you put it in slope-intercept form, you found that they both simplified or rearranged to the exact same equation. So this became y equals negative 2x plus 4, which is what was written right here. So when that occurs, you will say that it's infinitely many, when it turns into the same thing, and that it is consistent dependent. So those would be the two things you would circle. For number 18, again, you will have a question like this where you will have to rearrange both equations. Some of them only one, but some of them both. Okay? None of them are already fixed for you. You have to work for all of them. And you need to show me the new equations. You have to show me the work or you're going to lose credit. So part of the answer will be the slope-intercept form. Okay, so for this one, 18, when you rearranged it, they both turned into exactly the same thing. So this is also infinitely many solutions, consistent, dependent. Yes? So on this, all right, so what, the first one? All right, so let's do that. So 3x equals negative 6y plus 3. We need to get y by itself. So did you move the 3 over? Or did you move the 6 over? Okay, all right, so let's move the 6. And plus 3x equals 3. Then you're going to move the 3x. 6y equals negative 3x plus 3. Divide everything by 6. And this actually turns into negative 1/2 x plus 1/2. Or if you left it as x, you could also have said it's negative x over 2. Either way, it's the same thing. The other one should have rearranged to the same thing. Did it? Let's see. Yes, it does. So 2y equals negative x plus 1. Divide all three things by 2. And notice it looks exactly the same. So this looks like this. So that's why it was infinitely many. You won't have any fractions on the test. Yes?
When it's infinitely many, it's always going to be consistent. Right?
Correct.
And then if it's one solution, it will be consistent dependent? Or independent, sorry?
Yes. Consistent independent when it's one solution. Yes. All right. And then number 19. This one is inconsistent and no solution. So no solution and it's inconsistent. And then the last one, this one is one solution and consistent, independent. Good? All right, so on the test, again, they're gonna have, I'm gonna have the instructions written out. It's going to say, put both equations in slope-intercept form. And this is gonna tell you step by step what to do. Then it'll say compare slopes and y-intercepts, then tell the number of solutions, and classify. Okay, this is going to be the main instructions in bold, and it'll say use these instructions for questions 10 through 15, whatever numbers may be. And then what they'll do is you'll have, say, question number 10, and it might be y equals 4x plus 1, and let's say it's 4x equals y minus 1. Notice the first one, it's good to go, but we need to fix this one. I can add the 1. Once I do that, I get this. I can rearrange it and put the y on the left now. Then after it's rearranged, you have to show this work because it's part of your answer. Then I'm going to have the three things. First, it'll have one solution, then no solution, and then infinitely many. So when this happened, what's my answer? Infinitely many. Then below that, again, it's going to have consistent, independent, consistent, dependent, and inconsistent. So which one you pick from these three? This one, or this one? When it's consistent what? Dependent, good. And you circle it. The majority of the questions are like this. So if you have not memorized when it occurs that it's one solution, when it's no solution, and when it's infinitely many, you're going to get a lot wrong. Same thing with consistent independent, consistent dependent, and inconsistent. So again, just to recap, when the slopes are the same and y-intercepts are different, this is when we have no solution because the lines are parallel and it's inconsistent. So that's for that one. Then when slopes are the same, y-intercepts the same, so pretty much everything the same, This is when it's infinitely many solutions. It's consistent, dependent. And then the last situation is when slopes are different. It doesn't matter what the y-intercept is. Soon as you see different numbers on your slopes, this is when it's one solution, consistent, and independent. If you memorize this, so if you memorize this, this is over half of the test. So just know when this occurs. Also know how to put your equations in slope-intercept form. Okay? Again, one substitution question, one elimination question, one question where you plug in the order pair. And then the rest is this. Any questions? Anybody need me to work out anything from practice A or from practice B from 5-4? I had posted the answers for 5-4. So just be careful with your signs and how you bring it to the other side, and it should be a pretty easy test.